when you become the Russian sympathizer, did you ever think of like getting like overly into the character? You know, like Nikita Koloff did. You know, like or Ivan did. You know, getting the sickle tattoo or learning Russian or anything like that. Did you ever think of going that far?
No, because that wasn't what I was all about. I I was a Russian, I was an American who liked Russians and hated Americans, and that was the character. So being still an American and liking Russians was even more heat.
Hmm.
I didn't have to do any more. I mean, it was rough, and then once I left Louisiana and I got to Florida Championship Wrestling, Jim the Anvil Neidhart was my partner. And then he became like what I was, a Russian sympathizer. So we were Russian sympathizers. And the heat just kept, it was even worse down in Florida.
Hmm.
And then we had the Cuban assassin was our manager. So yeah, we didn't have to do anything else but just be that sympathizer, and that was the heat.
Was Dutch booking at that time when?
Dutch was booking then, and he was a great booker too.
Hmm. I'm just trying to think. A red-headed Russian sympathizer with a big
Yeah,
long beard as well. That seems so
yeah,
weird.
yeah. But it was funny when we first started, he didn't have the beard. And
Oh, of
then
course he didn't.
no, and then we were having a few beers one night, and he says, Barry, he says, I got to do something to. I said, grow out your beard. I said, get it really long, and like a Billy Goat's gruff. And so he grew it out, and that's what he had the rest of his career. He had that beard.
Sorry, so you're
So
saying that you are taking credit for the
I
devil's
I
goatee?
am taking 100% credit for that goatee, and I love Jim Neidhart. We were really good friends.
Do you know?
In fact,
I was going to say, why don't we deviate from the script and let's just tell some Jim
okay.
Neidhart stories?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them you can't tell, but Jim was just, I was in a hotel room down there, and that's where I lived. And Jim had a house, and he was married with two kids, and his wife and kids went up to Canada to stay with Stu for a while. So Jim said, "Well, come on and move in with me." So we were traveling together and everything, and I'd be sleeping at night, and all of a sudden I'd hear this, I thought, what the hell is going on? I'd get up, and Jim would be in the garage, and he's got 500 pounds on the bench, and he's benching 500 pounds at 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought, Jim, what are you doing? He says, well, I can't sleep. Well, he didn't even have to warm up, and he's doing, 450 or 500 pounds. I couldn't believe it. He was an animal. And we'd go to the towns, and on the way back, we'd have our fishing rods. We'd go fishing all night long. I couldn't keep up with him, but he was the greatest guy in the world. Oh man, I love Jim.
I asked this Bill before because I also used to do a podcast with Don Morocco, and Don always used to tell the story that Jim Neidhart was always on the hunt for a civilized Bloody Mary.
That's true. That's true.
Is it?
Yeah, he liked his Bloody Marys. But another story with Jim, and he loved his family. Middle of the night, I hear him just screaming in the phone, and he's yelling, Stu, I want my family back. And Stu was on the other line saying, no, I'm keeping my girls up here in Canada. And Jim would get so mad, and he'd hang up the phone. He said, Barry, he says, I want my wife and my kids back here, and Stu's not letting them go. He's having such a good time with them. And, finally they came back, and I moved out. But, he used to just scream at Stu. Oh, man.
It's probably because he was deaf.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.